Flosstube, I'm Julia, and welcome to the Stitchergirl Podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. It has been a hot minute. Yeah, life's been a little crazy. I think I filmed at the end of September. Then October, we had some interesting COVID news here where I live in New Brunswick, and where I live in the Moncton area, we went to a code orange, and that meant really full mask all the time, inside, outside, keeping that bubble small, that family bubble small, the social distancing. It just we went up a level of precaution. And if I understand correctly, I think somebody from another province was visiting family in a home, and they didn't isolate for 14 days. So that's how fast these things can change. And I'm sure, as you're all very well aware, things have been changing quite quickly in North America. The cases keep going up and up and up. And cities, communities, provinces, states are going into lockdown. And it needs to be done. I know people don't like it, but it worked before, so we need to do it again. So, number one tip from a nurse: wear your mask, please. There are some people though who can't wear masks, so that's cool. Just, stay home. Have somebody do your shopping. Take care of yourself. Don't put yourself at risk. And really, it's there are things we can do to help others. And this has really been an altruistic kind of situation where the good of the many, I think we need to keep that at the forefront of our minds. Think about our healthcare workers. Our hospitals are really getting overrun. And here ends my COVID rant of the day, because this is a Flosstube where I talk about cross stitch and sometimes knitting. And that is Wellington talking. And Cherub is around. And Wellington is enjoying the beautiful day here today. He's very excited by it. Do you want to sit with me? Come sit with me. Yeah. Have a lie down. So I was a little concerned that this would be a really long video today. So I'm just going to focus on my works in progress. And I might do a part 2 and show my haul, because there has been haul. It has been 6 weeks, so there is haul. There is haul. And I've been a bit of a scatterbrain with my stitching, and I know I'm not the only one. I've been kind of all over the place, starting new things constantly, and I don't have a really good organization system. So the other day I went to work on something, and the threads were a disaster, and I was like, ah! So I had to put that project away and work on something else, because I've always got something else to work on. So I think there's going to have to be some New Year's resolutions at some point. Girl, get your organized, basically. So let's look at some of my whips. So let's start with, this is just Nan. This is called the Peacock Cipher. This is an old pattern, 15 years old. And I'm doing it. I was all organized here, and then the cats, they come along. Welly's laying right here in front of me now. I'm using this DMC Variations, the 4825. And for the lettering, I'm using the DMC 3808. And this is where I'm at. So the darker DMC there. So once I get this section finished, I will have 2 pages done and I will be more than halfway finished. This is a remnant piece that was in the scrap bin at my local L&S. I believe it is a Picture This Plus. It is a Lugana and it is a 32 count. The lettering is 1/1 and it's a cipher. So that's why if you're looking at it, you're like, Julia, are you missing a vowel? Their vowels are not there because it's a cipher. So yeah, so, and because I already put 2020, I got to get that finished, right? I can. I'm just doing 1 thread over 2 and it looks really good. I don't know where my voice is going funny. This is just the way it's been lately, okay? Next up, let's do this because it's always time for Barbara Snooty Parrots. Like just magique. So the Snooty Parrots, there's a birthday sale for Debbie of Creatively Yours going on. I believe it began October 1st. And so Debbie's doing it. Her stitching buddy Alice, who I think is Honey Bee Stitcher on Instagram. Stacy 911 Stitcher's doing it. And my bestie Maggie Incognito Stitches on Instagram. So we're all doing it and we're all at various stages. I'm using the called for gas, except for a couple of exceptions, because I think this came out in 2013. So the dye lots for the cranberry and the rhubarb, I think, have changed a little bit. So I went with poinsettia and claret to get those, to get the color. You know, I like things when they match the pattern. I'll talk more about that later with another pattern that's giving me some pause. But here we go. This is vellum, 40 count vellum. Picture This Plus. It's a lovely neutral for samplers. And remember, 40 count because I'm a 40 count diva. So this is where oh dear. Here we go. This is better. Yeah. Now, I started, light fluctuates. I hate that when that happens. I did start with cranberry here. And I might just do the whole border with the cranberry and save the claret for in. It's a very subtle difference. Like, you have to be sitting next to me for me to be able to show you that the claret and the cranberry are different and that the rhubarb and the poinsettia are different. Okay, I have studied these flosses quite closely and they are different. And if I show them on here, you can be like, Julia, what is your problem? Well, sit with me and I'll show you my problem. So I started off here with the rhubarb and then I switched it to the poinsettia. Essentially, the difference is the tone, and they're just a little more pinker. I had an older skein of cranberry that I've been using in my my birds of a feather, my Blackbird Designs, the summer, autumn, fall, and that one does not match the new cranberry that I bought. And I think that's an older skein of cranberry, and that might have been the lot used for the Snooty Parrots. Anyways, I could go on and on about this, but I got it all figured out. Anyways, it's a great pattern. I need to get back to it. And Debbie's using some Mrs. Seda silks, and everybody's is going to look a little different, and they're just they're all going to be special, unique, and beautiful. And Barbara Anna is a genius. Okay, like these are the, see, it's not even worth doing this because I don't think you can. Yeah. And I think, oh, I did change out something else. I think I'm using some DMC here for something. Because I didn't like the green. What else is new? The greens looked very blue-green to me in the cover picture. But then when I got the actual skeins, they had a more of a yellowy green to them. And so I think I've substituted with some of those DMC, the 500, 501, 502, 503s, 504s, those blue greens. Yeah. So yeah, so that's fun. So I did start that October the 1st. I'll put in the hashtag for the sale so you can follow us. And I think I worked on it for about a week and then I put it away. So that was that. So next up, because it was Doc October stitching, and everybody has been stitching this Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio. It's incredibly popular. I've only been back into stitching for a couple of years, and last year this one was incredibly popular, and it is again. It's an annual favorite in the fall. Now it calls for Murky and it calls for classic Colorworks threads, and for once I am using the called for fabric and the called for threads. I think the only change is I'm using Anchor Black instead of DMC Black. I haven't got a lot done, but this is a huge piece on 40 count, as you can imagine. But this is where I am so far. And there's a counting error here, but I don't care. I think the witch's hat was supposed to be more black, but this piece, there's a lot of stitching in black and really dark, almost black colors. So I made the hat more purple. And there's a really nice variegation in the purple. I think it's called Rainy Days. Rainy Days is the purple. And there's a really nice variegation in this particular skein that I have. So I don't know if you can see that. Maybe you can. Anyways, tons of fun. I'm really enjoying that. And it was great to get the Murky because Murky was on back order for a while. It's really popular. I think if this pandemic has taught us that planning is always a good thing when it comes to our projects. And, you know, think about maybe what you want to stitch on a season in advance, and then that will give you the time to get your supplies. Because I think we've been so used to just like ordering stuff and getting it within 1 to 2 weeks, depending where you live. But with the pandemic now, it can take up to 6 weeks, maybe longer, 2 months, even longer for those hand-dyed fabrics. So maybe you might want to start planning a season ahead. There you go. More words of wisdom. Yeah, Wellington agrees. He always does. Okay, so then I don't know where my magazine is, but it's the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition from this year. You know, it's got a black cat and a pumpkin. Well, Misty Purcell had a design in there, the cat-o'-lantern, and that's why I bought the magazine. And it's not done, but it's getting there. It is the cutest, sweetest thing. Of course, in typical Julia style, I have changed out some of the colors because that's what I do. This again is a 40 count. Oh my God. That little mouse. Like, I'm not big on mice, but that little mouse, I'm telling you, I want to cuddle that mouse. This is Victorian Motto fabric. This is Harvest, 40 count again. Nancy Turner. I get this every couple of months. I get fat quarters from her. And this is my first time using this fabric. It is a Zweigart base. And I thought this Harvest color was great for Halloween colored projects. So next in the queue is the aforementioned the Blackbird Designs, the summer, autumn, winter. This one down here, this was re-released this year, very popular. And I know it bothers some people, it doesn't have all seasons, but I'm not big on spring, so this is perfect for me. Okay, so I finished summer. Once again, Julia has just thrown the called for colors out the window and done her own thing. But I had started working on the autumn. Sorry, it's a little wrinkled. I like to use a spring hoop. So there's always wrinkles. This is a 40 count. This is an R&R. I think it's like a nice cappuccino. Something like that. I have started the autumn one, as you can see. I finished. I didn't do the little doodad there because I think I'm going to do something else, maybe. Can you see? I changed up the greens. So I had a gray green, a blue green, and a yellow green. For the strawberries, there are 2 different threads because I wasn't happy with the called fors. They weren't bright enough. And I want my berries to be bright as I do for the poinsettia. I want them to pop. And I want the orange pumpkins to pop. So I'm using brighter colors. So the strawberries were 2 different thread colors. I think Schoolhouse Red by Gentle Arts and a hand-dyed Y Rolanda, which has no name. And I just alternated them, like every 2 rows, I alternated the color and it gave a nice variegation. And I'm using, for the letters, cranberry. Just admire that for a second. I'm using cranberry and currant. Again, this is a dye lot thing, and if you were sitting with me, I could have a better detailed explanation maybe. But the darkest parts of the cranberry match the lightest parts of the currant. So I'm using them, I'm alternating them to create this really nice variegated effect because I didn't think I was going to have enough cranberry. And like I said, the dye lot I had was from maybe 15 years ago. So, yeah, you can see that there maybe. The W. And then the D. I like that look. Looks good. I changed the house color too because there's supposed to be green in this house and I don't want green in my house. It's that polywog color, and polywog makes me think of like pond scum, and there was way too much polywog in the autumn section. So I think I'm using Storm Clouds, because there's some of that yellowy green. Olivey green, bluey greens. It's a really great green because it's got really great variegation. Polywog, it was too much. And Piney Woods was too yellow. So I'm not really using piney woods either. And I'm using burnt orange. This burnt orange is, can you see that? Oh my God. Very exciting. So next up in my wonderful world, now this is a November start. November the 3rd, I thought I got to do something really exciting on November the 3rd because that might have been the most anxiety-induced day ever for a lot of people. So I got out pandemic, joining the party. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I got a piece of 22 count, which is usually used for a hardanger, but I wanted 20 count Ada, but my shop was out, so I got the 22 count. They had a big enough piece, and I dyed it with pearl gray Rit dye, and I kind of did like a low immersion technique where I wet the fabric, then I scrunched it up, and I laid it like in a rectangular sized Tupperware container that was maybe like a couple of inches high. I made a solution. Like, this really was just a whole big experiment, right? And it worked. So what I did was I didn't have proper teaspoons, so I used a Dairy Queen spoon. So I used a Dairy Queen spoon of dye in a cup full of water. I just poured it all over, and then I let it set for 15 minutes. Then I went back, took another hot cup of water, and poured it all over it again. Let it sit for about another 15 minutes. And then I wrung it out. And of course, it always looks darker when it's wet. Wrung it out. Put it through the dryer. Because you rinse it till it runs clear. And it runs clear quite quickly, I found. It was really like there was no mess. I did it in a bathroom and there was very little cleanup afterwards. So, pandemic. So this is where I am. Now that is a silk hank. The purple mauvey color is a silk hank from Silks For You in Australia. And of course I ordered a silk hank in a global pandemic from Australia. Like, seriously? Oh my God, I'm hilarious. Anyways, and the bird and that little critter and the blue, I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm using these DMC variations. So this one is 4245. It's blues, mauves, navies. This is 4205, so this is like reds. And then I found this Gloriana silk. Now this is like vintage. Like, I must have bought this at least a good 15 years ago. It's called Blue Hawaii. It's maybe not that bright. And so I have a plan. The birds are all going to be that blue purpley color. The critters are going to be all that reddy color. And anything flying like a butterfly, dragonfly is going to be the Gloriana. And the rest of the pattern is going to be the silk, the silk. I don't know where that is right now. The purple plummy color. I don't know if you can really appreciate. It's like this, my shirt. It's like my shirt. That's good. Anywho, so I've started that, of course, one thread over one square on 22 count. And I haven't worked on this type of fabric in a while, so it's nice. So this is going to be smaller than if I did it on 40 count, if my mental math is correct, because I figured if I did it on 20 count Aida, that would be like 40 count linen. So 22 count hardanger is going to be smaller than 40 count linen, I think. I'm such a hot mess express, people. Just, you know, enjoy the ride. Okay, so that was pandemic. Now, the last thing I started, and this was back, I believe it was October the 25th, because it was Lisa's birthday. Lisa loves stitching out of Australia. I can't do that accent. For her birthday, we started Halloween at Hollyberry Farm, because Stacy Nash is a genius. And you should stitch all the Stacy Nash. Anyways, I love this. I love this piece. And I really, so I've been having issues with thread color because I really want it to look like the picture. So I've been playing with color. So the called fors were Picnic Basket, which is a brown, Roasted Marshmallow, which is a think marshmallow that's been slightly roasted, Pumpkin Pie, nice orange, Raven, which is a black color. I think typically it's a black green with some green in it, eh? Apple Cider again, which is a browny yellowy color, Carriage Black, and Parchment. Now the Raven did have that green hue to it at my LNS, so Julia wasn't using that. So instead, Julia got Black Crow, which definitely had blue in it. Like, I don't think you're ever going to see. All these colors are going to look black to you, but there's definitely like a navy bluey hue to this Black Crow. So I got that, and let me show you, because I've been having some issues with this piece. This is on Dapple. Picture this plus 40 count. Let me put on the glasses here. So this was a flower I did as a trial. The bottom part is the Black Crow, and it really reads black. One thread on 40 count, it really reads black. The top above it it's been a while since I worked on this. I think I used, just bear with me, the brain. I think I just used DMC, a navy DMC, 823. So I like that, the DMC 823 for the blue, but it's still kind of red, black, right? And I really wanted my flowers to have that blue cast to them. So then I got, oh, this one's good. This is a Weeks. This is Michael's Navy. Now this one was good. I don't know if you're going to be able to see again. Anyways, it's definitely a navy blue, but it has lighter navy blue as well. So when you look at it, it really reads blue. And so when you use one strand of that on 40 count, it looks blue. So I'm alternating that with the DMC. And down here, you can see what I've done. And the fence is that same color. Now let's look at the whole, what I've got here. Now I did a bottom right hand start a la Nicole's needlework, just to switch it up. I always start top left. And I think like many, I used to start in the center way back when. But now that I have my nifty a corner gauge from Lisa Loves Stitching, I can always start 2 inches in, 3 inches in. It's phenomenal. I love her corner gauge. I'll show that in my haul. So this is where I got. Now, I'm not feeling the leaves. I'm not feeling the leaves because they don't look like the picture. Now, I consulted with my cross-stitching guru, Emily C. of Eclectic Obsessions, and she told me she used the called for colors, but her fabric was different, eh? She had a fabric and then she dyed it again, and so her fabric is darker than mine. So the parchment or whatever is showing more. So when I was at my LNS, I got this Threadworks, and it's a 11141. Here, can you see that? Improvisation here, people. It's like a beigey. It looks like the parchment, but I thought it was nicer, if that makes any sense. Because I do have the parchment. Yeah, well, I'm telling you lies now because I don't know where it is. Anyways, because I thought like if I was going to, that house is humongous. And the thought of, like, I wanted a little more variegation, I think, in my house. That's why I went for this. Anyways, I'm not feeling it down here. So I'm thinking I'm going to try a white. Like, I didn't want to be stitching in white. But I think if I want it to look like this, those flowers to look like this, I'm going to have to go with white. And maybe the 5200 one. I'm okay with the house being that Threadworks color because I think it'll look good. But yeah, I really like the way it looks here. And there must have been some really crazy bright light shining on this when they took the picture. Because parchment never looks like this. And I know it's more like a beigey color, right? And Lisa, Kindred Stitcher, she used grits. It's grits weeks, so it might be a little whiter. But getting back to Miss Witchy Witch, I gave her a purple hat because she's my witch. I used royal purple. You can't see any of these colors in this light. That is Sorry, folks. But Royal Purple, again, it's a nice variegated ghast, and it has some really dark and some really nice, that rich royal purple color. So her hat is really more purple than her sash and her shoes, which I also use the same thread. And then her dress is, I used the Black Crow in her dress. And I think I used Carriage Black for the urn. Like, you can't see the doodads, the smoke coming up out of the urns here. I mean, I can see them clear as day here in the broom. Anyways, I was having fun doing this, but that whitey beigey thingy jiggy, it's not working for me. So yeah. So that's what I've been working on. And oh, I do have some knitting. So if you have any like advice, suggestions about the Halloween at Hollyberry Farm, please do leave a comment below. I do have a knitting. Look at this. Cherub got into my yarn overnight. It's not that bad though. I'm making a shawl, and I'm using 2 different colors of yarn. One is Sweet Skein of Mine, which is Amanda and Fredericton, and this one is called Oil Slick. It's called Oil Slick. And it's got some like a forest green, chocolate brown, rusty, plums, navy, those colors in there. And then I'm using a yarn from Barry, Knitting Wolf Luxury Yarns, and it's called The Darker Side of Hannah. That's his label. He's in Ontario. Knitting Wolf. And the color of the yarn, it's this beautiful, oh my God. Wellington is flicking his tail, and the yarn is just, see, Cherub has, can you see it? Cherub's had some fun. It's plummy. So it's almost kind of like an eggplant, dark, dark purple, almost black. Then these plums, berry colors. It's lovely. So I'm alternating these two. Now this is what you would call it. It's going to be an asymmetrical. I always want to laugh when I say asymmetrical because I'm 5. Yeah. Professional. So this is what it looks like here so far. You start the row with a picot. And then as you come along, you can see where I've added Barry's yarn, the Hannah. Might be a little pooling there, but it doesn't matter. It all looks good. Sorry about the crinkle. Anywho, so I'm working on that. You might be able to hear that airplane. I've got the gallery door open for a bit because it's quite hot during the daytime in this room with the sun shining right on. So yeah, so those are the WIPs. I'll do another episode with my haul and perhaps my plans. I wanted to do a know your needle worker tag. That's something maybe I should have done at the beginning of this Flosstube journey. But it's all good. I'm getting it all in eventually. And so I think that's it. I'm going to show you haul. I'm going to show you or talk about my plans for the rest of the year. I have some things that I do want to finish, so I think I'm going to jump on board with Debbie's hashtag finish it 2020. Anyways, I'll put that into Debbie Creatively Yours. So that's it. So please take care. I hope you're all well. Let me know what you're stitching on below. Have you been stitching on any of these projects that I've showed you? I know a lot of people have been doing the pandemic and they have been finishing the pandemic and they're just stunning. There is a Facebook group and the colors, the creativity has been incredibly, very enjoyable. So I hope you're well. I hope you're stitching. I hope you are taking care of yourselves and your family. You're being careful. You're being mindful of others. And you're embracing this challenge that we're all going through to the best of your ability. I know it's hard. The struggle is real. But now they're talking about vaccines. So this is good. This is good. And we just have to buckle down, stay the course, hold the line, and we'll get there. We will get there, and we will have learned so much about ourselves and what we want this world to be like. So there you go. Take care, and I will see you again. Bisous.